Hello and welcome to the Mentorprise podcast, your pocket guide to mindset, motivation and mentorship.
And today we've got Callum Wallace from Atlas Promotions over in Scotland with us today. And I'm kind of excited to kind of speak to Callum today because we started in the industry at a really kind of similar time. And in fact, we started a business at the same time. And I know I've networked with him, many times, and he's got some great value. So I'm excited to see kind of what he's going to talk about today, because I know he's kind of loves a good spreadsheet. He's very data driven, and also kind of a really funny character. So this should be a good one.
And in fact, his business partner actually mentored me when I was new to sales. Yeah, so I remember seeing her name on the bulletin of all the top teams, and I was like, I'm going to network with them. So they've both got a fantastic business. So yeah, there's going to be some great tips there.
It's going to be a good one.
Welcome, Callum Wallace, to the Mentorprise podcast. And some congratulations are in order, of course, because you are one of the managing directors of Atlas Promotions with, of course, Ujla Mohammed.
Yeah.
And it's your 10th anniversary this year.
I know, exciting.
Similar to Rob with Red Sevens. So you guys have been in business literally the same number of years.
I think we worked out, it's kind of must have been maybe 3 months difference or 4 months difference.
Yeah, we are officially veterans.
Yeah.
Veterans, yeah.
Need some medals.
So for those that don't know, what was your journey into direct sales? How did you get into it?
Well, it's quite ironic sitting in a music studio because there's a bit of that intertwines into the story. So
Okay.
I was a B student, C student. I was that guy.
Okay.
Easily distracted, talks too much.
Right.
Things don't really change. And just didn't think uni was for me, didn't know what I wanted to do, thought I would just randomly pick something, knew I would mess around, decided to go, let's not waste 4 years of your life.
And
let's
lots
just go
of
to
money.
work. Yeah, exactly. So worked with my dad for 3 years. Well, worked with him for a year doing painting and decorating, and then 2 years self-employed, working for a property developer. I think he was just looking for the cheapest painter he could find.
just good enough. Low price.
Then from there, 21, I thought, I better get a real job, which ended up being a call centre.
Right, okay.
Don't know if that's classed as a real job. 5 years HMRC, don't punch me in the face, nothing to do with your tax. Short version, I was a professional address changer.
Oh, nice.
Right.
So people would phone up, and I'd be like, welcome to Tax Credit Helpline, you're free Callum, how can I help? And they'd go, I'm just phoning to update my address. And I'd be like,
I can help you.
I am an
Got you.
expert. Then I would update their address, and then I would ask the magic question, anything else I can help you with?
And they say no.
And they go, no. You go, no problem, Mr. Smith, you have a banging day. And then another wee ping would go in your ear, and you go, welcome to Tax Credit Helpline, talking to Callum, how can I help?
You did that for 5 years?
Just phoning to update my address. You've like, no problem, I've got you covered. I did that for 5 years.
Wow.
Now, it was about, 150, 200 calls a day or something.
Yeah.
80% of them were that. The other 20% was screamers. And there's something unique about a Scottish person screaming.
So some entertainment during the day, yeah.
I was like, I just can't do this forever.
Yeah.
I'm actually going insane already. And bringing in the music part, I was in a band, been in a band since I was 17.
Right.
Me and my best mate, our goal was rock stars.
Okay.
That dream ended. He phoned me one day and he's like, oh, do you remember that demo we made? And I was like, yeah. He's like, oh, there's a record label in America that likes it. And I was like, no way.
Oh, wow.
This is it.
For a minute I was like, he's bamming me up, and then I got emails sent through and whatnot. He said the only problem is the recordings are not good enough. So if we're going to take it further, you need better recordings. So I was like, okay, no probs. So then a couple of weeks went past. My mate phones me up again. And he's like, got a great idea. And I was like, love your ideas. Okay, what's going on
the
here?
Beginning of a great story. Yeah.
He said, let's quit our jobs.
Okay.
I was already like, I'm in.
You're ready, yeah.
Sold.
I've been waiting 5 years for this. Says, let's quit our jobs. Let's take out 2 loans. Okay, because I had a flat, he had a flat for home refurbishments.
Right.
And we'll take 6 months off work. We'll buy some equipment. We'll record a demo.
Yeah.
And then that'll be it.
Become rich.
We'll be bazillionaires, rock stars, living life. So I was like, I'm into it. So I got a loan for 12 grand from Tesco's for home refurbishments. And he ended up with like a 10 grand loan or something.
Yeah.
So here's these two 25-year-old nuggets from Alloa in Scotland with 22 grand, quit our jobs, and we just spent 6 months like doing nothing but writing and recording music.
I was really worried you were going to say that you just didn't actually do any recording. I was like, oh,
Went
God.
travelling.
Yeah.
So then anyway, 4 months in, made this demo. Turned out that first thing was just a pile of shite.
Oh,
So
really?
that didn't really go anywhere.
What is it? So you resent the demo and they were like, oh, we're not into it anymore.
I think they'd like dissolved or something. I think it was a guy in his shed or something like that.
Right,
Do you know what I mean?
yeah.
Probably my mate just set this all up to get me to quit my job. Do you know? Then from there, came up with an idea. I was like, do you know what? Let's go through all the albums we've got, all the bands we love, and we'll write down all the names of anyone to do with that album on a bit of paper, right? And then we'll go online, find contact details, and then we're going to send their demo out. It's like, that's a great idea.
Yeah.
So we spent the whole fucking day doing that. 99% of them you can't find. You won't find them, they'll find you, sort of thing.
Yeah. Also, LinkedIn didn't exist.
No, we're back in full on peak of MySpace. We managed to get in touch with a few top producers. One was a guy called Garth Richardson, who'd recorded like Biffy Clyro.
Oh, okay.
And he was like, I'll give your stuff a listen. Never heard from him ever again. Then we
it must not have got through in the post.
yeah, it's completely MySpace didn't send properly yet. Then we got in touch with this one woman called Sylvia Massey, who's based in California. Recorded like our favourite band, which was Tool, Chili Peppers.
Wow.
But she could so many mad artists like Johnny Cash, Aerosmith, Prince, like loads of like top end producer. So she was like, I'll give your stuff a listen. We're like, oh my God. And then she replied and was like, I love it.
Okay.
And we were like, what is
way.
going on? Emails turned to phone calls. And then, but again, trying to cut a long story short, she said, look, to record an album like this would take about 5 weeks.
Uh-huh.
But it cost about 100 grand.
And she's not going to foot the bill.
And we were like, okay.
We can extend our loans.
Yeah. So we were like, well, we are Scottish and poor.
In fact, in debt now because you've done the 6 months.
Yeah. We don't have jobs. Right? She was like, okay, well, listen, I tell you what, she said, if you can get £15,000 together,
right.
Okay, you fly over here yourself. She's like, you stay in the band house for 5 weeks for free, but you feed yourself, get here, and 15 grand will cover my engineer to do all the recording and stuff, and then I'll mix it. But normally I take 3% like royalty. She was like, I want 25 or something like that.
Because she's footing the rest, yeah.
So we were like, amazing.
Yeah.
So we came off the phone like, why? Like, we made it. And it was like, wait a minute, you got 15 grand. So we figured out, we did some maths and we're like, we need 20 grand. I think we pitched our parents and whatnot, and they said a lot of 4-letter sweary words. And
crowdfunding unsuccessful.
Yeah. And then it was just this kind of realization, like, yeah, if we're going to do anything with this, we need lots of money.
Right, yeah.
And that was the only thing kind of keeping me focused.
That was your ultimate goal.
Yeah, that's my goal. That's how I was able to change addresses for 5 years. Like, it's all right, I'm going to be a rock star. And it was just like hitting a brick wall kind of thing. I was like, oh shit, what am I going to do now? Fucking need to go back to work. So phoned up my old call centre manager, who funnily enough was called Tom Brady. Not the quarterback, obviously. Like, he said, sorry, Cal, I'd love to get you back, but I can't. Because this was 2009.
Peak recession.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He said, not only the government not
changing
recruiting people,
addresses.
but we're actually, yeah. All their addresses have changed. Not only are we not recruiting people, but we're actually letting people go. Don't tell them, by the way. I was like, okay. It's a bit of a sliding doors moment. It'd be quite mad to think.
Had that not happened.
If he'd be like, yeah, come back, I'd maybe still be changing addresses.
10 years later.
Applying for jobs. Fun enough, I applied for a job for Quick Fit in sales.
Mm-hmm.
And they rejected me, saying I didn't have any sales experience.
Yeah.
It's quite ironic now, given run one of the biggest sales businesses in Scotland. It was my girlfriend at the time had applied to Nicky's office in Glasgow and said, this place is amazing. Like, this atmosphere is so fun. People are making like £500 a week. And I was like, £500 a week? Like, I was making £250 changing addresses. So 500. I was like, I'm in. And she said, you know what? You just have to be good at talking. Instantly loved it. I picked sales up super fast. My first day in the field, I remember doing 3 sales and giving a sale to the person that was training me.
Really?
Yeah. Because I felt bad because technically I could do the whole pitch, but I didn't know how to do the form.
Right. Like, so you were getting them to do your admin?
Yeah, like 09, where we didn't know iPads. It was, do you know what I mean, pen and paper, rock and chalk. When I first started, what motivated me and excited me was the opportunity, especially to make lots of money. Because my only goal in life was 20 grand.
So you still had this goal of, we need to raise this money because we're going to California.
As soon as I get the 20 grand, I'm out of here.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I'm away to be a rock star. As soon as I got good at sales, which was right away, I was like, right, how do you do this team building thing? And like, excuse my French, but I'm so shit at coaching.
Oh, really?
So bad. Like, I struggled so much with giving people criticism.
What, as in?
I just didn't do it.
Didn't like
I
doing it?
didn't want to do it. Like,
So you just told them they were amazing all the time?
Oh, you're awesome, mate. Like, that's so good. And I found it really awkward trying to kind of break people down or strip people back or
Is that
criticise.
because you didn't want them to feel bad?
Yeah. And then I went from that extreme to the opposite. I was like, oh no, I was like, yeah, mate, that's shit. You know what I mean? So then I got the confidence to tell people they were crap, but then I started making people cry and stuff.
Right.
And then I was like, oh man, I'm not good at this coaching stuff at all. And it took me 9 months to promote my first leader.
Really?
But the main reason I've worked out, it took me 9 months or 8 months to figure this out, was that I just wasn't easy to copy.
I see. Well, because you were naturally gifted.
My pitch was so long. Like, I used to just talk nonsense to customers for 10 minutes and then, oh yeah, what am I selling again? Oh yeah. Do you like telecoms? Like, do you like broadband? And then I do, but people obviously can't really copy that.
So are you one of these people that just really sold on charisma? Yeah.
And because I came into the business with this insane pressure financially, because
so focused,
I had my mortgage, my new 12 grand stupid loan to pay off.
Yeah.
I had to make £400 a week just to eat food.
Right.
Obviously, if you don't eat food, you die, sort of thing. So it was like, and there was nobody coming to save me. It was like, you just have to do this.
Yeah.
And even if I was to go back to the call centre, I was only making 250 quid. So I was like, I have to make this work.
Yeah.
So it was kind of like I was backed into a corner where I had to do sales. So my fear as well about not doing my style of pitching was that my sales would drop.
You didn't want to fix what wasn't broken.
Exactly. But then I realised after 8 months, you're never going to build a team if you don't. So then I just had to bite the bullet. And guess what happened when I changed my pitch to a short one? Still did sales.
Yeah.
And then people could copy me.
Right.
And then I got promoted to crew leader within 5 weeks.
Wow. What a quick turnaround.
Totally.
So for those that aren't familiar with our industry, so you've got from having no one on your team, just you talking half an hour to each customer and magically them eventually saying yes, to then making it shorter, people copying you, and then you managed to get 3 people to get to your standard of sales in 4 weeks.
Yeah.
God.
Which is mad, isn't it?
Imagine if you'd done it, yeah.
I know. I was just like, damn it. But again, it's just such a
good lesson to learn.
It's something I still struggle with to this day. Like, if I know it's not technically a question, but when I get asked like what regrets or what would you change, like I wish I was quicker at like recognizing mistakes and just fixing them quicker.
Right, yeah.
Whereas I'm kind of stubborn and I'm like, no, my way is better.
You're right, okay.
So if I was quicker reacting to stuff, I think my promotion would have been a lot faster.
Yeah.
Then I've moved into telecoms to fundraising, which was another adventure.
Interestingly, what was the thing that you found that you had to change? What was the difference?
I remember we were working on behalf of a charity, and it was like just following the same patterns, and it was just like you believe that helping people in this situation's a good thing, and they'd be like, yeah, and they'd be like, perfect, what's your first name? I remember that Christmas, so I started in October in fundraising, had some good weeks, but they were probably just law of average, like fluke weeks.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? For the majority of it, really bad at it. Got to Christmas and it was like telling my family, yeah, Christmas is cancelled this year. Yeah, you're getting hugs.
Yeah, wrapped in tinfoil.
Completely. There'll be good hugs, but you're only getting a hug this year. But I just remember I wasn't pissed off, I wasn't upset, I wasn't depressed. I just thought it was funny. And I just felt like, do you know what? It's all right because we're going to figure it out.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And then, lo and behold, come the January, we went down to Manchester, got trained for 2 weeks on how to do it properly, came back to Scotland, and then the rest was history kind of thing. And within 10 weeks of that, I was promoted to assistant owner.
So on that note then, because commercial sales, you're very right, is very different to fundraising, completely different. What was the penny that dropped, and kind of, because we talk about inspiring people rather than selling to people.
Completely.
So what was it kind of for you?
Well, that was it. It was just to try to sell too much of the features and just talk passionately about what the charity does. Why am I excited about it, and then see if the customer you're talking to is equally as excited, and if they are, awesome. If they're not, awesome.
Yeah.
It was just like, oh my God. And I just fell in love with it because I was just like, this is such a, like, if I'm gonna do well in my career, I'm going to be successful, like, I'd rather help organisations that do good. I'm not saying, telecoms or energy or whatever are evil. Like, I like heating, do you know what I mean? I like broadband, but there's just something more special or
rewarding, is it?
Rewarding, a bit more, like, there's more meaning to being able to do good for others or environment or whatever.
Well, I remember Rob once, we were representing an Alzheimer's related charity, and in a morning meeting with our whole team, because one of their missions was to have a life-changing treatment by the year 2025 or something, right? Which is 2 years away from now.
No, right?
And I remember you saying in that meeting, imagine having your breakfast one morning, opening up a newspaper or watching the news, and then learning that they've actually done that. And you can know that you've actually helped that happen.
Totally.
And I was like, I don't know if I'm really emotional today, but I was like, that is like,
inspirational, isn't it?
Impact. So yeah,
absolutely.
It does mean a lot.
And for I've been in the business 14 years, and 13 of it I've been involved in that. And
great.
And then, like I say, got promoted to ownership, and me and Ujla were both promoted to assistant owner on the same day.
Right.
She was 2 hours before me.
2 hours?
Which she likes to remind me about quite a lot.
Like so twins being born, yeah.
I started 4 weeks after you, and got promoted 2 weeks before. The goal was for us to move from Glasgow to Edinburgh together, run a team together, build it to 30 people, and then I'd take 15, she'd take 15. But then we just found that we ran the business really well.
Yeah.
Like my strengths, her weaknesses, vice versa. And yeah, we just kept running the business, and like you say, that's now 10 years.
So did you go with the intention of running independent marketing companies, but then thought, hey, we're working really well together, why not do it together?
Yeah, completely.
Great.
So I suppose it was, if it's not broken, don't fix it.
Yeah.
Unless it's a long pitch, kids.
So your story is quite interesting, because I think that resonates with a lot of people, that you start and you're good at something, but you're not good at a certain part of the business. But what kind of, I know you had this kind of dream of kind of saving the £20,000 and going to California, but what kind of, when it was tough and when it was challenging, what kind of kept you going? Was there anything else that intrinsic or anything else that helped you?
Well, I've always been ambitious from a young age. I just didn't know how to channel it. Like, initially it was like music is going to be my, or when I was younger it was football, and then you realise you're not Brazilian, you're Scottish. And then it was music, and then that kind of journey sort of petered out, and then I realised that I can still have music as a hobby and still a passion that I still do to this day. But my motivation has always been, like, I don't know, about growth, how far, like, just a curiosity, like, how far can I go?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, can I get to that level? I don't know. Well, let's have a shot. And then, okay, can I get to the next part? I don't know, Cal. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then it's just always been that hunger to just keep pushing to see if you can make it to the, I know it's maybe a cheesy analogy, but it's like computer games or something, isn't it? It's like, how far can I go with this? Or, and because I grew up in terms of with the painting and then the call centre, and like, this is my income, this is my outgoings,
Yeah, can't change
this is how much fun you can have, Callum. Like, where's your holidays this year? To the kitchen. Do you know what I mean? It's like, I would be the guy to take a week off to just stay in the flat.
Right.
Because that's all I could afford.
Right.
And don't get me wrong, a week off at home is better than a week at work if you're changing addresses.
Yeah.
But it was like, I've always wanted to explore. I'm not like some mad adventurer where like I'd like do rock climbing and climb mountains and stuff, but I love traveling. I want to see as much of the world as I can.
Yeah.
My goal was our motivation was to be able to do that, to be able to afford to do that, to have the time to do that, look after family. Like, that's always been something that's been quite close and personal to me. If I can help my mum have a better life, or my siblings have a better life, like, that's always been a motivation. I didn't realise this till quite recently, actually, but I just got a passion for coaching people as well, even though, funnily enough, I was really bad at it.
Now you're good, you're enjoying it.
Once I started promoting leaders, I got addicted to that, which was like seeing someone who's no confidence, being shit, and then like working with you a month, a couple of weeks, whatever, and then seeing people doing well. And again, when I think about it, well, that's my mum was a teacher her whole life, so I must have got some of that.
Yeah.
Those genes. Didn't get your hair genes, mum, but not right.
For the listener, Callum doesn't have a big mane of hair, so
but you can see it on YouTube.
I am taller than my hair.
So just want to kind of go back to something you said earlier. You mentioned that when you came into the industry, you had a mortgage, you had high outgoings, but you chose an industry where you started completely remunerated based on your performance. So you were paid commission only for your sales, and I think when I joined the industry, I'd never been paid on performance before.
Yep.
I'd paid an hourly wage or a monthly salary.
Totally.
So for some people that would scare them. What if I don't make enough money? I've got these kind of outgoings I have to kind of cover. What was your mentality with commission?
I just instantly understood it. Because again, I came from those worlds where you don't get a reward for your effort. So naturally, I'm quite an insanely hard-working person. Like, I've got a lot of energy, and I can like focus. And I mean, if you can change addresses for 5 years, you know what I'm saying? There's proof. I was always surrounded by people that didn't. So it always frustrated me. Like, well, if I work 100%, you're going to pay me £3 and then in that hour. Do you know what I mean? That's what I got paid for painting, by the way. If I do 50%, you're going to pay me £3. Okay, I'll do 50% then.
Yeah.
Okay, you're going to pay me 12 grand a year to change addresses and not do Sudoku. Do you know what I mean? Okay, well, do you know what? I'm just going to put in as little effort as I can and do lots of Sudoku.
Right, yeah.
Because it's like, what's the point? So coming into this, and it was like, harder you work, you instantly get the reward. I was like, well, this makes sense to me. Why would I want to put in 50% when I can get more? And then again, if I'm probably being totally honest, I just had to. I couldn't be lazy because I had to. I mean, we were what, £18 a sale or something back then, and if you were making £400, like, you had to have good sales. So it was just like, it was every minute of every day I had to be like, go, 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 go. There was no breaks. There was no taking it easy. There was no, I couldn't afford to lose my attitude.
So it sounds like you looked at it very positively.
Yeah.
Of, hey, like, I'm a hardworking person, and I'm gonna get out. I'm gonna get out what I put into it. But also, you had the element of, there was a bit of pressure on you. You were like, well, I just have to do it.
Yeah.
I have to perform.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I couldn't let my mind wander too much. So it was just like, if I went into like stress or anxiety or worry, it was just like results straight off. So it was just like, I knew there was like, nope, we're not gonna focus on that.
Yeah.
It's just like, I'm just every day, tunnel vision. I need to get to the field quick. I need to work hard. I need to smile. I need to have a laugh with customers. And I'm just doing that all day. And I just got into that habit. So I was just like, I suppose, arguably a bit robotic with it. And that doesn't mean I didn't have tough days, but I didn't allow myself to overanalyze or think about it too much, because I knew that it was just going to be a spiral.
Well, that leads us on perfectly to the 3 M's that we talk about, which is kind of mindset, motivation, and mentorship, right?
Yeah.
So how important do you think mindset is, and what kind of part has that played on your career?
The head office, isn't it, of everything that goes on, the control room. Like, if this isn't right, like, you're not going to get anything done. And for me, mindset is just always being able to see solutions, or at least hunt for them. If you can't figure them out, go and find them off people that can.
Yeah.
I love the story. You guys have probably heard it 1,000 times. You know, the one about the farmer.
Go on.
Yeah.
Let's hear it.
So how's it go again? So there's a farmer John. He's got a horse.
Right.
He's got this sort of unbelievable horse, right? Simon is the most beautiful stallion you've ever seen in your life, right?
Sure.
Runs away, right? Simon just fucks off, right? Nobody said Simon says, he just jogged on, right? All the villagers say, Farmer John,
Yeah.
"Oh, John, such bad luck, mate. Like, you had the best horse in the world and the horses ran away."
Yeah.
Farmer John's like, "Good luck, bad luck, nobody knows." And then like a week goes past, guess who comes back?
Simon?
Simon comes back. But guess what? He's not alone.
He's brought a friend.
He's brought loads of friends. All these wild horses. You know what I mean? He made some mates. All the villagers are like, "Oh, say, John, you are so fucking lucky. You lost Simon. Simon came back, brought these horses.
Now you're the horseman.
You are like Mr. King of Horses." Obviously, the moral of the story is, like, sometimes bad things happen.
Mm-hmm.
And you think your world's coming to an end, the sky is falling, like, life is over, never going to get out of this.
Yeah.
But then sometimes that is what actually takes you to the... Like me phoning up Tom Brady, and then that actually turned out to be, like, the best thing that's ever happened to me, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So, for me, mindset is... You have to learn that, though. I don't think anyone's born with that. I think certainly being in business, and certainly this business, teaches you the value of being able to be optimistic, because again, you go through so many situations like that
Yeah.
that you just get used to it and it becomes part of your DNA, and you start to just go, right, whenever stuff goes wrong, my automatic reaction now is Farmer John. Right? Like, it's sort of, you're like, cool, we've got a problem. No problem. Good. I'm glad we've got a problem, because you know what? Life is good when we've got problems. See, if life has got no problems, it's fucking boring. And then it's just about figuring it out. And obviously some problems are easier than others. Some problems you can figure out on your own. Some problems you've been through a million times yourself. Some problems you're like, what the hell just happened? Like COVID. Jesus hell. That was a new one.
Didn't see that one coming yet.
But like, and you guys will know better than anyone, like, I wasn't freaking out. You guys weren't. We were only freaking out. It was just like, if there's anyone going to get through it, like, we'll get through it, because we've been through that.
I suppose you're like getting your autobiographical storyline.
100%.
No one's going to read a book that was like,
no,
I did it and it was easy.
Completely. I wanted war stories.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's
badges of honour, but challenges of honour.
Yeah. You know? It's like a weird version of the Scouts or something. Do you know what I mean? like,
you want to have a Game of Thrones series of issues that you
100%. You could go on and on and on and on and on and on about all the tiny little, like, bullshit things that happen. But I was like, using that turned it into like a positive.
Like a red flag to a bull, like we're going.
Completely. And the funny thing is, and you'll know this as well, that these things never happen once.
Yeah.
And then it's just like, right, I need to build up like a memory bank or a highlight reel.
Build evidence.
Yeah, evidence, yeah. So it's like, oh, okay, this is that, oh, that's okay. Well, let me tell you about the 18 times I've done that before. So when you come into these situations, it's just like, yeah, it's like, no, what do you mean? Well, there's no problems today.
So our second M then is all about motivation, and I know you touched on that a little bit earlier, but what has motivation done for you, or what does even motivation mean for Callum?
When it comes to motivation, we've all got things to do.
Yeah.
Anything you've got to do, whatever task it is, always gives you an instant feeling. If it's a positive feeling, then everything's good. Like, I want to book a holiday. I want to have a long lie. I want to do my hobby.
Yeah.
Eat ice cream, whatever it may be. And so whenever you've got something positive to do, your brain just goes, yep, I like that. That sounds good. Any second, nope, let's just do it. And it just gets done. But when it's a negative feeling or not an instant reward, your brain obviously always automatically goes to, but do we need to? Does it need to be done now? Can somebody else do it for us?
Procrastination.
Is tomorrow a better day? Are the stars aligned today? Is the wind speed? Right? And And for most people, that emotion never progresses. It's just, I've got something to do that doesn't give me a great feeling, so do you know what? I'm just going to put it off, and then it never happens. And the problem with success is it's not ever a short thing. It's always a really painful, long game. Success is always at the other end of hard work and effort and failure and bullshit and whatnot. And if you don't accept that and you don't just get on with it, if you don't deal with it, then success is never something you're going to arrive at. And I just learned that quite quick. But you need a bit of a cheat code with it. So, what is the cheat code? I'll tell you what cheat code is. For successful people, okay, this is what makes humans the most intelligent being. Well, supposed to be the most intelligent, not always, but is our ability to have lateral thought. Okay, we can predict outcomes. We can look into the future and go, if I do this, and then that, what's going to happen?
Ahead,
Or if I don't do this, what's the outcome going to be? So you need that cheat code. You need that override switch. Okay, when you've got that feeling, you don't want to do that thing, you're not that motivated, you need to be able to go, well, what will happen if I don't? And it's just a dead simple question, but if you ask yourself that question, oh, I don't want to take that new person out today, oh, but what will happen if I don't? And then your brain goes, oh, that could be the next superstar that joins the business.
Right, yeah.
Or what if I don't come in today because the weather's bad? Well, then my team might look at me a bit different, my owner might look at me a bit different. The next time there's another bad day, then my team might not come in, or my owner might not pick me to go to that meeting or that trip because they think, do you know what I mean, I'm not that disciplined or motivated. Or do you know what, do the right thing. And everybody knows what's right and wrong. That's the funny thing. If you do the exercise and you run through bad weather, do you work or do you not work? Work. Okay. Do you get up early or sleep in? Get up early. Do you train the new person or not train? You train. Everybody knows. Like, nobody fails any of those questions. But we're easy at like giving ourselves excuses as to not today or.
Well, the right decision is often the harder one.
Always.
Yeah. It's
always the hard decision. Whoever's the hard decision is always the right one.
Yeah.
And that's a problem. That's why success is tough.
Yeah, otherwise everyone would do it.
Completely, because you've just got to be, and you're not going to be perfect every time, but you have to be 80% and above, 90% and above, where you just make sure you keep on doing those right things over and over and over again. Because again, what does that question do? It stops you from ending up in a destination of regret. Because everyone's got, everyone needs to choose a pain. So you've either got the pain of discipline or the pain of regret.
Right, I see, yeah.
So something's going to be painful. What one do you want? And I've just always been let's do the discipline pain one because it's more rewarding.
I suppose it's like, either you work hard now to benefit later, or you don't work hard now and it would be a bit of a struggle later.
I've just always had that wiring where I care more about the future than right now.
Yeah.
And that's not, I know that's a dangerous thing as well, because it's like, I will never have fun, because everything's about, I'll have fun tomorrow, and tomorrow never comes. But like, when I started in the business, I was so obsessed with 30-year-old Callum. When I was 26, that's all I thought about was 30-year-old Callum. This is where I want him to be. When I was 27, 30-year-old Callum. When I was 28, 30-year-old Callum. You know what I mean? And I didn't, like, 26, 27, 28, 29, again, excuse my French, fuck you, mate, you're working hard. Get over it.
Putting the foundations
deal with it. And then later on, you're going to thank yourself. And I know I sound like I'm mental talking to myself, but I think that is a huge part of motivation. And going back to the last question about mindset, like, you have to be mentally strong to protect yourself from yourself, if you know what I mean, and constantly be thinking about, right, it's just this never-ending communication and conversation with yourself, because everyone's got this like animal instinct versus human, and like whatever dogs, all they care about is sleeping, eating, and something else we won't mention on the podcast. Right? And again, humans have those instincts as well, but we also have emotions and feelings and aspirations and goals and dreams, and we want to have a purpose in life, right?
Yeah.
Well, a dog doesn't really want to have a purpose other than just eating and sleeping, right?
Mhm.
Whereas we want to make a difference and have an impact and change things. But it's like, if you don't, if all you think about is those short-term animal, like, yeah, but what's fun today, then you're gonna, what's the word, like, you're gonna destroy the human part of you, I think.
Yeah.
And again, if you're all you're about is discipline and diligence and hard work and there's no fun, then you're just going to kill the animal parts. It's balance.
Mm.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe that's the Libra in me talking. I'm all about balance. And it's finding that fun and reward, but it can't be all the time, because then that becomes detrimental to what you're trying to achieve in your life, which is not easy. And I'm not perfect at it. I don't think anyone is, but you have to work on it as much as you can.
Work in progress.
Yeah. And when you don't feel motivated and you struggle with it, again, I just always want to go out my way to spend time with people that are, because if you surround yourself with the people that are not motivated, then it's easy to join in that wasteful mindset. Whereas if you keep yourself around high performing people as much as you can, then that motivation, when you're not maybe feeling 100%, they are, and that, okay, let's go and do that then. Let's go and do some work.
Well, on the note of kind of spending time with the right people, we have a lot of people listen to this that are mentors, that coach others. What do you think, from your last 10 years being a business owner, what do you think makes a great mentor to people? I
suppose with our business, it's just the structure of it's designed perfectly for that question, isn't it? Because the one word answer is experience, I think. Like, what was it I seen recently? It was an interview with Chris Eubank. And he said something like, the problem with boxers these days is all their coaches are, apart from the fact they wouldn't fight each other, that's one problem. The other problem is all their coaches are like PE teachers.
Right.
PT experts.
Yeah. Oh, what, personal trainers? You mean?
Fitness guys or gals.
Not fighters.
Yeah.
Right.
He says, like, they can teach you how to be healthy and fit and grow muscle and just drop body fat and
be physically elite.
Have stamina and all this stuff, but they can't teach you anything about getting punched in the face.
Right.
Or the emotions that you go through in a fight. You can only learn that from somebody that's been through it. And again, it's one of the, what I think, beautiful things about business. Doesn't matter what age you are, what your experience is, your qualifications, none of that. Like, we start in the industry, everyone starts off at the same level. And fair enough, if you've got experience and whatever qualifications, whatever, cool, you'll go through faster. But you have to go here, so that when you're a business owner, what's your main purpose in life now is to teach people how to go from here to here. Well, you can only be a mentor to somebody if you've been through that. You can't do it if you've read a book.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Because there's this wave of life coaches now, aren't there?
Yeah.
And, you see some of them, they're like 21, 20, 22.
So funny.
You think, maybe in principle you've learned what is the right advice from a book, but I suppose if you haven't lived it, you can't necessarily help people properly.
Theory is very different to practice, right?
Yeah.
Maybe not the best metaphor to use in the world, but if I'm going to war, I would like to be next to the person that's got lots of scars. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Wounds. Because it's like, okay, you know some stuff.
Yeah.
Not the person that has maybe got the six pack and the bike, but not a blemish. Do you know what I mean? It's like, what are you like on the front line? No idea. But this person's been there. So you want to get tips from people that have been there, done it, got the t-shirt kind of thing. Yeah. So for me, being a good mentor is having experience, having those war stories, having somebody that can be empathetic to the whole situation, and walk you through it. Like, not just give you some textbook answers, but go, oh, let me tell you, not just what I did to get out of that, but let me tell you about the emotions of it as well. Yeah. Because, again, 90% of this, like we said before, is the emotional part of it. Yeah. And the systematic stuff's the easy part. It's the emotional part that's the tough part. So for me, being a good mentor is having experience. Obviously, being a good listener helps. Being honest. Like, I was a bad mentor because I was not wanting to be honest because I'd make people cry.
Yeah.
Then I was too honest.
Not caring for someone's emotions.
Yeah.
So how do you get that balance, though, Callum? How do you get the balance of not being too brutal, where you can maybe break someone's confidence, but also not having the balance of, you don't break them enough where you don't actually improve them?
It's practice. It's practice. Unfortunately, there's something I teach in day-to-day life and I run my business, is that chances are, guys, the first 20, 30 people you train, you're going to be really bad at it.
Yeah.
But I need you to have that expectation. Let me tell you why it's not going to go well the first 20, 30 times, because you will be too embarrassed or worried about hurting somebody's feelings, or you'll be too vicious and too aggressive with the criticism, which will break people. Or maybe just the fact that you're still learning how to what is right and wrong yourself.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And then being disciplined enough to put that into practice. But if you keep practicing the art form of giving advice and criticism, spend time obviously with people that are already been through that journey and go, how do you tell somebody they suck at something without hurting their feelings? And there are the simple systems. It's like, well, we all know build, break, build, like give somebody a positive, tell them what they're doing wrong. But again, it's a bit more intricate than that. It's about the kind of language you use. You start using words like, but, oh, you're really good there. You did this and this well, but.
Right, yeah.
As soon as I say but,
I forgot
any
everything
advice,
before.
any positive I gave you, just like, that was a lie. You're just buttering me up.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's been able to say, okay, that was good. Why do you think those things are good? Do you know what I mean? What's the benefit of you doing those things well? Another thing I've noticed is that if you improve in this area, it's going to make a massive difference to you. When I was at your stage, I was not the best at that either.
Right.
Why do you think doing it that way would be better?
So language choices.
Always. So you learn how to be a bit. So whereas if you're like, don't do that, or that was good, but stuff like that just it kills people.
I get so defensive when people like give me feedback in that way.
Totally. It's so
Or
true.
you should. If people start a sentence with that, I'm like, a bit like yourself being a bit stubborn. It's like, no, I won't.
Yeah.
Which I would say is probably not the best way to be, but it is reality.
It teleports you right back to school, what it does with me anyway when I was like my teacher. Don't do that, Callum.
Yeah.
Gonna do it.
Yeah. It's like,
Watch this.
Don't push the red button. What?
So, we're talking a lot about what makes a good mentor, and hopefully over the years you've had the luxury of having some fantastic mentors and lots of advice that has come your way.
Absolutely.
Are there any bits of advice that you've had that have really stuck with you and that you still go by today?
Loads. I'd like to write a book on that one.
Really?
But again, I suppose a lot of it is kind of cliche, but it's cliche for a reason, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
One thing that stuck with me was you don't find a team, you build one. And so many people go wrong in our business doing that.
Right.
Because this business is about coaching and training. It's like, okay, so all I need to do is just keep getting new people on my team, and eventually I'll find good ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Take a
that
long
can't be
time.
the only part of your strategy, because that is like saying it's nothing to do with you
It's luck.
and your ability to set an example or pass on wisdom, skills, those things we were just talking about, and it's all 100% on luck. Just finding good people. And when I was given that advice, it was actually by somebody that had loads of experience in the business, and that was an observation they made. And the observation was based off the fact that I didn't have a plan, wasn't organised, and I wasn't as invested in coaching people as I should have been.
Just hoping the right people would fall in your lap.
Yeah. The difference, he said, the difference between me and you, Callum, is that you're trying to find a team, whereas I build a team.
Yeah.
And I just always stuck with me. And then it made me realise that actually my progression, my success is more to do with the effort that I put into people. And yeah, you're going to have people that come in that are 10 out of 10. You're going to have 9s, you're going to have 8s, you're going to have whatever, 7s, 6s. But they don't come in at that. Your job's to take a 3 and coach them to be a 7, or take a 4 and coach them to be an 8, and that's how you build a big business, is by being able to take somebody who's never done it before, lacking confidence, lacking experience, and maybe not turn everyone. You're never going to turn everyone into a superstar, but you can make people good.
Yeah.
And then that way you start taking accountability. And for me, that was something that still to this day see people making that mistake, but it's something I still remember about what I need to do if I'm going to do well in business.
Yeah.
I think when you actually do build those people as well, that gives you so much confidence in yourself.
Totally.
Because if you just recruited or coached someone that's a bit of a natural, right, picks up straight away, like a you maybe, the person that coached you, you weren't successful because of them.
No.
You had natural ability, and you kind of had some experience maybe with customer service. So I think when you do truly build people and level them up like a 3 to a 4 to a 5 to a 6 to a 7, I think that gives you that evidence that actually I am good at what I do.
Yeah.
And it gives you the confidence to do it again and again and again.
Oh, totally. Because if you're successful because other people are good, there's zero confidence in that. Because what happens if people leave?
Yeah, I was going to say, in any business, people are going to come and go. So if you're only relying on the right people coming across your business,
Completely.
You're either going to be doing very well or very badly. And
it's what would you rather give up? You ask a successful person, would you rather give up your wealth or your skill? There's always the wealth, isn't it? Because if you still got the skill, you'll make it back.
Yeah.
Whereas if you give up the skill,
you'll lose your wealth as
lose
well.
your wealth. Yeah, it's having that ability to coach and train, develop others, and doesn't matter what age group, skill set they've got, but you take the responsibility for it, not the other way around.
Yeah.
And we often ask our guests about the shit that no one sees, and these are the things behind closed doors, the things that you do that's helped you become successful. And running a business for 10 years is no, small feat. It's kind of, we've got ups and downs and challenges. But what are the things that maybe we don't see, that the people in your business don't see, that you do behind closed doors that helped you become successful?
Some of them maybe do go under the radar. Some I still say maybe a lot of people in my business do. Like you guys will know, because like spreadsheets and reviews, right? It's like,
he's a freak in the sheets.
Yeah, it's like a tattoo I can't get rid of. But like I'm always analysing, I'm always reviewing, constantly looking for patterns or things I can make better. Like I'll look at sales averages, go, right, okay, can we move that up? Or look at recruitment, okay, can we make that better? Okay, retention, can we make, where's that? Can I make that better? Was it like in this office? Was it like in that office? Was it like it's an organised? So I'm always that guy that's like obsessed with numbers.
Yeah. Maybe
a lot of people in my business won't see me obsessing over stuff like that.
Or maybe don't appreciate why you do it.
Yeah. Or maybe don't see, why is that a loser looking at numbers? You know what I mean? But actually, like that makes a massive difference in my business by able to take the emotion, because what is it? Men and women lie, numbers don't. So regardless of what industry you're in, obsessing over the maths and the numbers behind everything, like massively makes a difference, I think, anyway.
Yeah.
And again, I've heard that message from most successful people as well.
I'm very data driven. I love facts.
Yeah.
I did a science degree, so I'm just like for me, that gives me a lot of confidence in that I'm doing the right thing.
Yeah.
If I'm following data and that. But what I do find is that if you just rely on looking at numbers, it might mislead you.
Yeah.
So there's other people that do it completely the other way, where they're like completely based on their gut instincts. Yeah. And then actually sometimes I make the right decision, other times they might be off on a tangent. So I suppose maybe with you and Ursula, do you feel that Ursula's more like going based on the emotions of the situation?
Absolutely. Well, the kind of famous thing between me and Ursula is I make the plan and she makes it happen. So it's like, I'll go, okay, this is wrong. Ursula goes, cool, I'll fix that, don't worry. And
yeah.
I'm like, cool.
And she's like, that's probably wrong because this and this that I've observed.
Absolutely.
So maybe that's where you make such a great team.
Yeah, no, totally. It's like I'm like the engineer and she's like, she probably is the real entrepreneur. Goes to get stuff done.
We've got the wrong person on this podcast. Yeah, no, I'm joking.
Absolutely.
So where does that come from then, Callum? Was that something you learnt or taught? Where does the whole being data driven come from?
I don't know. I think I need to understand how stuff works.
Yeah. Same.
Do you know what I mean?
The why.
I'm like, yeah, but exactly. Yeah, but why? Do you know what I mean? Like, recruitment's went down.
Why?
But why?
Yeah, I'm so the same.
Okay, where's the issue? And why is that happening?
It's not an accident.
Yeah, exactly.
Something must have
Completely.
happened. Yeah.
I don't think anything like that. Especially, fair enough, a day or a week, like short. But if it's over a long period of time, there's clearly something that needs addressed there. And it's like, and I'm paranoid, I suppose, if that's the right word, about like just drifting.
Yeah.
Okay, and thinking that everything's going to work out just because I'm motivated. Oh, yeah, well, I've got a goal, so I'm pretty sure if I just keep working hard and stay digital, like, we're going to get there. It's like, no, like, even if you're like, especially on a long journey, if you're like, what is it, 1 degree off, you end up, what is it they say, like a fighter jet, something?
Yeah, I know
like
what you mean.
1 degree off, but in a mile, it's like
a mile to 5 miles.
55 miles the wrong way, just because they were 1 degree off, sort of thing. So I just have that fear of keep my eye off the ball, something's not right, don't notice it for months or years, and then it's like, shit.
Well, you can imagine that with other industries, like that might have happened. If you consider Blockbuster, for example, Rob's first ever job, you know, very proud alumni.
Still love Blockbuster.
But they missed the trick, didn't they? Because they were the giant of video, film, all of that stuff, but they didn't necessarily, over with time and technology changing, think about what Netflix and Love Film were doing, like before Netflix.
Oh yeah, I forgot about Love Film.
Yeah. But you know, they weren't thinking of, okay, well, how's society changing? And so eventually they were like, oh, no one's coming in for VHSs and DVDs anymore, we're gonna have to close down. Whereas if they'd maybe thought about it and been like, well, why are the numbers going down? Maybe they could have
well, Mr. or Mrs. Netflix actually went to Blockbuster.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, and pitched them, and they went, nah, which is funny.
And it's almost like, we don't need it
because
we're motivated, we've got great plans. The Yellow Pages versus Google, you know, how the Yellow Pages were in everyone's house, and probably if you speak to some of the candidates that come into our
not a clue.
they're
no
18 years
Mad,
old. What's a Yellow Page?
Completely. But the other thing, I suppose, this is maybe the one that people won't see as much as, and again, it's been something that's been learned. It's not something I came in with, but it's prioritising. And you really start to understand the importance of it when you start promoting people to run their own businesses. Because for me, it's like the number one deal breaker, make or break, whether that business is going to grow or not. It's very, very rarely due to work ethic that a business fails. Yeah. Like, I always, again, maybe I'm just too optimistic, but or see the good in people. But I genuinely do think somebody that opens their own company, like, of course they want it to succeed. But where does it go wrong? If it does go wrong, prioritising. It's like either they don't have a list of things to do that day or that week or that month. Right. Or they do have a list of things to do, but guess what? It's not the high value stuff.
I see, yeah. So they're working hard, but just in the wrong areas.
Yeah, and I see it all, and sometimes I have phone calls or I get wind from like an administrator or whatever, and you're just like, oh, why are you doing that? Like, there's 7 other things that are like life and death to your business, but really, like, that's the thing that we're making the And for me, I just think again it goes back to that thing to do part we talked about. Yeah, it's like,
what's the right thing to do?
Yeah, I've got stuff to do, but let's do the easy ones. Like, do I want to go out with that great new person and coach them today? Or do you think people would learn better if the paint in this office was green rather than blue? Do you know what I mean?
Back to your painting days.
Yeah. Or I really should run a great advancement meeting tomorrow with the brand new people or whatever. Yeah. But nah, for me, I'm going to travel to another office and just go and hang around that owner. Yeah. It's like, why? Do you know what I mean? But they just pick the wrong stuff. I think, and I'm obsessed with making sure that I've like my most valuable thing in the world is time. Yeah. And I hate wasting time. So it's like I need to make sure that I'm hitting things in my business that are going to make a difference. Yeah. Because if I don't, I spend too much time. It's not these things get neglected completely, but it's just what we're doing first. And again, if I'm my to-do lists are nuts. Like every day is like 14 pages.
Wow, that's a lot.
But well, maybe not exaggerating a wee bit. But it's always. But then it's like, right, yeah. What's the ones that you don't like though? And see the ones I don't like. Guess what?
You have to do
They're
it,
first.
Yeah.
I saw I think it was a TikTok that was talking about what you're talking about here. And it said it's the equivalent of arranging the deck chairs on the Titanic as it's sinking. You're like,
exactly.
the job's got to be done, guys.
Yeah, exactly.
Not right now.
Yeah.
What do you talk about? You talk about it's HIPAA, isn't it? High income producing activities, and often you kind of decide what you're going to do first based on what creates the most kind of income.
Yeah, well, it was something I heard, and it kind of made me think about. There's so many things that I have on my to-do list that some of them are have to do's, like they've got deadlines, etc., where they keep the business ticking over, and there's should do's and then would like to do's, and it's like the should do's are the ones that actually make the difference. And Fran, who we've had on the podcast before, when I was new to especially the recruitment role, she said, are you actually moving the needle of your business? So like with you tracking, you can kind of say, well, I've been spending all my energy in the past month doing XYZ. Have we actually made any more profit? Is the team any bigger? Have we got anyone advanced to the next level? If not, clearly that activity maybe was a bit, I don't know if it's the right word, superfluous, where it's like you didn't need to do it.
Yeah. And I feel people are always changing stuff in the business. Like, that's irrelevant. You're just changing stuff for the sake of changing.
Yeah. Because
you're not getting the results you want. So something needs to change. But really, like, the colour of the office is the thing that's going to, I'm telling you, green is the colour.
Yeah, no, yellow makes people sell,
Yeah, exactly. And it's just like, I get it. Like, I'm not saying don't look after your office or don't go and travel and visit people, but it's just like, but what's the most important thing now? And it's a never-ending thing. It's like whack-a-mole. Do you know what I mean? Right, we've got an issue here, and something else goes wrong. You're constantly like trying to stop leaks all over your business, but it's just like, but if you don't go and fix that leak or don't want to fix it because it's too much like hard work, then using your Titanic reference.
But the deck chairs look great, guys. Yeah, no, they're really straight.
We're going to go down in style.
Please have a seat. I've just done it. Yeah. I suppose we want to kind of finish up on is, I mean, I think I could probably guess some of your core values based on what you've spoke about already.
Yeah.
But we're interested to know kind of what are the things that you, I suppose, carry yourself to in your core values.
We've got 6 in our business. First one is support.
Okay.
And teamwork. Like, again, be kind, be helpful, be respectful, making sure that, especially for new people, like, you help them, you help others do well, regardless of whether they're in your team or not, or your business or not. Like, it's just nice to be nice, isn't it? And
give more than you take.
Yeah, and again, that's something that was instilled in me week 1. Honesty and integrity, again, just a key thing. Ironically, something I struggled with to begin with regarding being honest with people's flaws and weaknesses, but it's definitely something I've always been honest in day-to-day life, but when it came to coaching and training, it was just something that we wanted to have as a core value in our business, where it's like people are in an environment where it's just better to be honest. Like, if you make a mistake, own it. Do you know what I mean? Don't make excuses. Don't try and blame other people or other things. It's just like, listen, if you fuck up, you fuck up.
I think
it's okay.
I heard Mike Blaine said it to me once, like maybe not me directly, maybe to a group of us, but it was something to do with if you're not being honest with people, you're not doing them a favour.
Correct.
Because you're going to allow them to keep doing the same thing, over and over again, not getting any better, just for you to, like you did, high five, you're amazing.
Yeah, exactly.
Good, gas you up.
And it's funny, every conversation that involves criticism or trying to point people in the right direction or take them off a bad path they're on, always ends with that.
Yeah.
I'm only telling you this because I care.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And that's...
Because it might be uncomfortable in the moment.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
And it's like... But I have that speech, if you like, which is like, I can't sleep tonight knowing that you're making mistakes and I didn't do anything about it.
And I just let you carry on.
And I just let you carry on. That's the worst thing I could ever do. It's not the conversation I'm I enjoy.
No.
I need to have a difficult conversation with you. I don't enjoy having difficult conversations, but I need to.
Yeah.
Are you okay for me to have a difficult conversation with you?
Yeah.
Because I want to be able to help you. And if you just go into every situation like that, people can feel a bit more relaxed. They know something's coming they're not going to maybe like the sound of, but you're reminding them at the beginning that it's because you've got their best intentions at heart.
I suppose talking back to the language choices, the way that you've set up that feedback there,
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't sound like a personal attack.
Exactly.
Like, hey, let me tell you all the things you're doing wrong.
Yeah.
You know, like,
Yeah.
you could be better if.
Yeah, get in here now.
Yeah.
Sit down. You're in trouble.
And
Yeah.
their defences aren't going to be up
Mhm.
as quickly as if you're saying, hey, I feel like I should tell you this because I think it could really help you.
Yeah.
Are you willing to hear it? And if they say yes, you've got that buy-in already.
Exactly. Definitely. And people will always say yes because they want to know. Nobody's going to leave that room going, no, I'm not ready to hear this yet.
No, I want to carry on being frustrated.
Yeah, exactly. Accountability, something I didn't really have to learn that one. It's something I've just always had. Where, I mean, I don't know. As a leader, we always liked a wee moan when you were new and complaining. But for
That's
me,
being British.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's definitely Scottish, definitely as well. But it wasn't something I never stayed in that world for very long. Whenever I'd have a moan and be like, right, okay, let's.
What are we going to do about
Honesty
it?
hour, okay.
Yeah.
let's go and do something about it. And I always use the same analogy because it was a book I read a while back called Black Box Thinking,
Uh-huh.
which compares aviation and healthcare.
Okay.
And there was quite a few themes in it, but that was the one that always stood out. It was like back in the 1920s. I'm going to mess up some dates and figures are going to be off here, but the message is good.
Yeah.
Just don't quote me on dates and figures, but it was like 1920s. What percentage of flights crashed?
Right.
25%.
Okay.
Which is, so if you got in a plane, you had a 1 in 4 chance of death, which is not very good odds.
Not ideal, no.
Like, you're better odds playing Russian roulette
Yeah.
with a 6 gauge, right? Which is not good. But you fast forward to when this book was published, which, again, don't quote me, but 2012, 14.
Uh-huh.
So about 100 years later, there was something like, in that year, there was like 36 million flights and hundreds of millions of people that took to the sky. And how many people were involved in a plane crash that year? 200 and X amount that were on the Malaysia flight that went missing.
One flight's worth.
One
yeah.
flight, Malaysia flight that went missing. That's a lot of progress.
Yeah.
Huge.
And what's the magic, the secret? The black box. Because when a plane goes down,
Tells you what happened.
GPS, pick it up, okay, records instruments, records data, records conversations with the pilots, what were they talking about in the final moments, and it's not policed or whatever, controlled by the airline, okay, who would have biased,
Right.
okay, it's like a central review aviation board,
Independent, yeah.
I see.
independent,
Yeah.
okay, no biasm towards the airline, whatever, and it's just, okay, what went wrong? How can we fix it?
Yeah.
Full accountability. And then it compares the healthcare in America, okay, and in the same year, 20, whatever it was, 13, 14, 1 million people went into American hospitals, non-life-threatening problems,
Conditions, yeah.
and died.
Right.
How many?
1 million.
Wow.
In 1 year. Human error. Wrong medication. Mistake during operation.
The cleaner turning off the light.
Yeah,
support,
yeah.
That's a lot of people.
That's a lot of people. Okay. And why? What? No accountability.
What,
No,
as in
there's no central review.
I see.
It's the same conversations. Oh, there's nothing we could have done. It's just one of these things.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? And it's just sweepy, under carpety.
Okay.
Whereas you see the difference with aviation. And again, accountability is having that mindset of, okay, ego in the bin.
What did we do that could be done differently?
You are where you deserve to be.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? If your business is not doing well, Callum, it's not the guy's fault. It's not the weather's fault. It's not the government's fault.
It's not COVID.
No, yeah, it's not 'cause somebody ate a bat, whatever, right? You allowed to say that anymore? I don't know. It's your fault. What are you going to do about it?
Mm-hmm.
Have you reviewed where the issue is? Okay, if your sales aren't where they want to be, it's nobody else's fault. It's your fault.
Yeah.
If your team isn't the size that you want it to be, or where it is, it's not the owner's fault. Okay, it's not the campaign's fault. It's not the people in your team's fault. Okay, if you've trained 400 people and you don't have any people, there's only one common denominator.
The people.
Yeah, 400 of them are all useless. It's like, you need to fix something. Have you discovered? Have you looked at your black box, reviewed the data, not on your own, because do you know what I mean? You're lying to yourself.
Right. Yeah.
But if you got somebody that's actually like experienced, going back to the mentor thing, and went, can you have a look at this and go and just tell me what it is that I need to fix, and then go and fix it. Because it's one thing sitting there going, okay, yep, that's good, but I will do that tomorrow. Or, nah, you're wrong. I'm just going to carry on in the same path. Or, I don't think it's that. I'm wearing the wrong colour shirt. Do you know what I mean? Or I talked to this person and they said, it's like, okay, where are they at in life? Do you know what I mean? It's funny how they always get good tips off of people that are equally not as doing as well as them. Do you know what I mean? Because again, people don't like hearing the truth sometimes. Yeah. But you just got to have that attitude of like full accountability. So that was big one.
Okay.
Accountability. Where am I now? Reliable. Again, it's just a discipline. I think you've either got it or you don't. That one's maybe not as teachable.
Could people get better at it, do you think?
Maybe. I suppose, where can people be unreliable? Maybe timekeeping. Yeah, I'd say you could get better at that.
Do you think the accountability helps people become more reliable?
Yeah, because I'm late because of the bus. Well, you're not. The bus picked up at the time it was supposed to pick up, and
get an earlier one.
Yeah, don't aim to be in at a minute too. Aim, do you know what I mean? A half an hour before, whatever.
It's always the one that lives around the corner that's 5 minutes late, right?
Yeah, but the thing is, it's like if you're training to be a business owner, okay, yeah, it's okay for you to be unreliable just now because your owner's reliable and they're there every day for your team and your people and whatever. But if you want to be the owner, you want to get promoted and run your own business, well, you're the leader of that business. What are you going to be late then? Are you going to be off X amount of times? And again, people can do what they want. You can come in whenever you want. You can be off as much as you want. But I know what it takes to run a business, and that is consistency, hard work, diligence, discipline. And if that's your goal, if that's what you want to be, then this is the standard you need to meet.
It's almost like act for the position that you want, not the position that you're in.
Yeah, like if you want to win Wimbledon, like you better go to the gym. You better hit some tennis balls. Do you know what I mean? Don't say I want to be a Wimbledon champion, but I'll play tennis once a year.
Yeah.
Right? Or I want to win the Open, so I'm going to play golf once a year. Okay, like me and Rob. We know how that ends.
You know, you guys want to be.
We spend more time in sand and water than on grass.
High grass.
Yeah.
Well, I was thinking about, I suppose, reliability. It helps build trust, because if you don't do what you're meant to be doing at the times that you say you'll be doing them, etc.
Yeah.
Especially if you're trying to build a team and you're not that way inclined.
Yep. People
aren't going to stick around.
No. It's hard to get people to follow you if you're not reliable.
No.
Why would they?
Well, because especially if you are mentoring them or coaching them and you're saying, hey, put your career in my hands, I'll look after you. And then they're like, well, that's a bit of a risky investment from my part because you're not a reliable person.
Not looking after yourself, you can't look after me.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, that's the thing. Everyone wants somebody that can help them become successful. In whatever way they measure success. Some might be building something, some might be financial, some might be time, But whatever one of those paths you want to go on, you need somebody that can teach you, that can guide you, that can be the example. And if they're not the example, well, sorry, I don't want to follow you.
Well, imagine, back to your thing about 1 million people dying in hospitals. And you're told that the surgeon you're about to go into a major operation with, sometimes
10% success.
Sometimes he doesn't wash his hands, you know?
And he really likes whiskey.
Yeah.
All day.
Exactly. Okay, this guy's not reliable. Do I have to go with this surgeon? Please no.
Exactly.
That's I completely a valid core value.
Completely. And then the last two are, again, obvious ones, but positivity. You need to be in a business that's a people business. I could be the most pissed off, grumpy painter and decorator, and actually probably did better. You know what I mean? Get in the wall, right? I'd paint faster if I was a grumpy.
Doing abstract art on people's walls.
Before that, I had a part-time job working in a supermarket, stacking shelves. I could be a pissed off shelf stacker because tins of beans don't give a fuck. Do you know what I mean? But when you're in a business that's people, it's you have to be a positive person.
Yeah.
Especially when it's performance related, because your results are better when you're positive, your enthusiasm's better, you train better, you coach better, you learn better.
And you attract better people when you're better.
People want to be around you. Nobody likes being around grumpy people unless you are a grumpy person and you're just looking for like-minded people. But grumpy people don't tend to build big businesses. You have to be someone that is optimistic, glass is half full, what's the solutions to this problem? If it's all moan, complain, it's the everything opposite, isn't it? It's zero accountability. It's, I don't want to take on any responsibility. I don't want to be reliable. You know what I mean? I'm going to lie. I'm dishonest. I don't want to support anyone. Yeah. It's just positivity is the secret to wanting to help other people.
Yeah. Being
honest as a person, being accountable and being reliable. So that, again, is the glue that holds this people business together. And you've put it into sports. What happens to a sports team that's even got one or two negative players? Team's not going to win.
Dressing room.
Yeah, not going to win.
Well, I mean, I don't know if you've seen this in your decade of running a business, but I know that we've had situations before where even some of our top sales performers, because of their toxicity or their attitudes and things, we've had to come to the decision, and mainly you in the end, saying we're going to have to let this person go. Ironically, the whole team's overall performance went up afterwards.
Oh, because they're like a wee cloud that walks around the office.
Yeah.
And Alex Ferguson was the best at that, wasn't he? Removing the egos or whatever out the office.
Yeah. It doesn't matter how good you think you are by yourself. This is a team. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And if you can't be positive around others or talk well and kind about other whatever, then I come completely. Yeah. And then the last one we've got is personal development, which again, none of my success I put down to myself. Yeah. I worked hard. Yeah, I put it into practice. But everything I've achieved in this business, because I stole it off other people. Do you know what I mean? I've travelled. I've been lucky enough to travel around the world visiting some great people in this industry. And 99% of things I use in my business I just nicked off of owners. They know I nicked it. They're sneaking out windows or anything. But it was I really like that idea. I'm going to bring that back. Oh, that's brilliant. That's something I've never thought about before. Yeah. Okay, and then you kind of make this, I don't know, Frankenstein business with all these little parts that you've stolen off of great people around the industry. And it's just that desire to want to learn from people, to want to pick people's brains, to see if there's new ways of looking at stuff. But again, it's got to fall back on where your business is at, though. Don't just, like I say, change stuff for the sake of changing it. But if the minute you start thinking you know everything, you're in trouble. Yeah. And I've always got this understanding that I need to keep things fresh. I need to make sure I stay more knowledgeable than the people in my business so that I can add value. Okay. Yeah. Not in an ego way, but it's just well, you're showing up to my business every day to learn. I better have some good stuff to teach you.
You got to be relevant, haven't you?
Yeah. And if it's just the same stuff repackaged over and over, as you can make an argument saying, "Oh, cool, well, you're keeping it simple and
it works."
But you got to keep people engaged and stimulated, and you've got to make sure that. I think it keeps that respect as well. I've never heard you say that one. Oh, that's new. I feel like I always come and learn new stuff off of you all the time, and it creates that people want to be more reliable, because it's like, oh, well, I don't want to miss this meeting, or I don't want to miss that talk, or because yesterday's was so good, or the day before, whereas people get bored with that.
And the message might be the same, but it's packaged in a different way.
Yeah.
Or like a different way of explaining the same principle.
Yep.
Because otherwise, people switch off, right? They won't.
Completely.
Heard this one before.
Yeah.
And I think not necessarily what worked 5 years ago is going to work now.
True.
As people change, industries change, consumers' expectations change. I think, especially when me and you started in the industry, the stuff that we would taught back then, I don't teach a lot of that stuff these days. Yeah. Because it's just not applicable these days. It's not relevant.
Yeah. Yeah, you get in trouble as well.
Yeah, a lot of that stuff.
Filling in a paper form, how to do your H's properly. I remember you training me on that.
So I actually used to have to teach people how to write.
100%.
So mad.
Like, the computer's going to think that's an M. We need to change that.
Nuts. But yeah, that's the core values, and they spell the word sharp.
Oh, I like that.
But with a double P, sharp. So it's like support, honesty. How do you spell sharp again? Yeah, accountability, reliable, positivity, and personal development.
Great.
Brilliant.
Because we're looking for sharp people.
Oh, I like it.
We might steal that one.
Yeah, mate.
Just put another P on it.
I can't sit here and say I nicked everything and then not let you steal that.
Brilliant. Well, Callum, thank you so much. It's been really insightful. And sorry about the technical kind of problems, but
don't be daft.
Absolutely great kind of value for our listeners there. And thanks for travelling down all the way from Edinburgh today.
No worries. Absolute
pleasure. And
have
a safe journey back.
No, thanking you. No, it's been great. And you guys keep up the good work.
Thank you.
Thanks, mate.
Awesome.
Tons of value there, and so many different kind of points, and actually kind of hearing some things, especially from kind of Callum's core values, it directly kind of goes back to what he said at the beginning of the episode. So, for example, he mentioned kind of integrity honesty, integrity was part of his kind of core value, and he spoke earlier about making the right decisions. And integrity for me is all about doing the right thing when no one's watching. And he spoke about making the hard decisions, doing things you don't really want to do, because they're often the right decisions to make. Yeah, exactly. And I've actually found the beginning really interesting, learning more about, I suppose, how he started. Because, again, another person where I've known him for years, kind of seen his professional side of the business, but had no idea that, where he came from or his motivation to get into sales. So it's interesting, the origin stories of these guests. It's a great story. I didn't realise he started in commercial sales first either. Yeah. And I think it will resonate with a lot of our people and listeners, because Callum's story, he spoke about how he actually picked up sales really, really quickly and was a bit of a natural, but then found it really difficult to actually impart his knowledge on other people and help develop other people. And it took him, months and months and months to really get through and be, I suppose, copyable, to actually kind of help coach and develop great people. So, great episode. It's going to be it was a great episode. Well, it sounds like he's the black box of his business. So we might have to get the other part Ursula on next, right? Really, part 2. Yeah. Fantastic. Thank you very much for listening to the Mentorprise podcast. We want to give some recognition to people that have made this happen. We want to thank Luke and the rest of his team at Access Creative College, who have given us access to these fantastic facilities, and also to Edward Collis Films for all things to do with videography.